Okay, I see it says live.
Okay.
All right, I'll try to speak up and stay close to the mic. Got my handy dandy portable.
Okay.
Looking for the alert. And did you get a link?
Let me see.
See if it gets a link there. Not seeing it yet.
Okay, I think I have a link.
Okay. Let me see.
I'm going to put this in Telegram. Let's see. Cardano effect. Send.
Takes a little bit for the link to show up and
Yeah.
let people show up. They're not using the Poltercast like Cardano is. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. They're using Poltercast. It would be lightning fast.
Hi, Valdas.
There we
We'll
go.
give people some time to stream in. Let's start in like a minute
Okay.
because I think we only have a couple people in this room.
All right. I put it in Cardano official. A lot of people over there. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Don Cheetos, what's up? We're just waiting for a few more people to come in, and then we'll start.
All right. I'm seeing the alerts start to pop up. So
All right. Took a little time this time.
yes,
Gerald,
sir.
Dow, Einar, what's up? OCG, how you doing?
Hey guys. Hi Don. Dow OCG.
Valdes is going to make some popcorn.
Yo,
Sounds
Michael,
good.
Brad. How are you?
Tinku, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon if you're in a different time zone. Good evening if you're in a very different time zone. I'm on the East Coast and Rick is on the West Coast. Crypto Dave Jr., how you doing? Wonder Sound from Germany, how are you? Germany, is that 8 or 9 hours ahead of East
I think
Coast?
they're +1 or +2
Okay.
of GMT. So that would be 6 hours ahead of the East Coast.
6 hours. Okay. Okay. Robert,
Wonderful.
how are you doing? Cernaka, hi from Arctic Circle, Finland. Welcome. Henbits, good morning. 6 p.m. there, so 6 hours.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so
Yeah,
are we ready to go?
Oh. Yes, sir. Ready.
Okay.
Right.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cardano Effect Podcast, episode 70. The purpose of this podcast is to take high-level developer information and projects that are occurring within the Cardano space and break them down into bite-sized, consumable pieces of information for everyday use. I'm your host, Philippe, and let's get this podcast started. So Rick and myself are the hosts of the Cardano Effect Podcast today. We appreciate everyone tuning in today. This is our live stream episode. If you're not familiar with our live stream series, it's usually once a week, and we recap all the events that happened within the Cardano ecosystem for the previous week. If you'd like to follow along, you can go to the subreddit Cardano. You can sort by top and sort by this week. We usually just cover them in the number of top votes that they receive. So you can follow along. I might drop that link in a bit. I'd like to remind everyone that if you're watching the Cardano Effect podcast today and you're not subscribed, whether you like or dislike what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps our SEO and it allows us to broadcast this to a wider audience. So we have a lot of things to talk about today. We did not do our live stream episode last week, but before, I'm going to just do our financial disclaimer and then we can get right into the mix of things. We're also, throughout this podcast, we'll have a chance to answer live YouTube comments so we're able to communicate with you. So none of what we say on this podcast is financial advice. Remember, you are your best financial advisor. And if you don't think you are, you need to find someone who's qualified to do so. So without further ado, how you doing this Saturday, Rick? What's going on? What's happening?
I'm doing great, Philippe. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I would like to give a shout out to IOHK, the sponsor of this podcast. Thank you very much, IOHK. We appreciate it. And also remind new viewers this podcast is available on all major streaming apps and major streaming services. So you can listen to audio while you're working out or driving in your car. And so we'll get into the podcast this week. Like Philippe said, we're going to be looking at Reddit sort of by the top this week posts and checking the live questions over in chat. We also have, some of the latest news. Excuse me. Some of the interesting developments is the Jormungandr 0.8.6 was released this week on Wednesday, on Wednesday it was released. And we're seeing network performance improvement. If you go over to adapools.org and you check their network performance, you'll see that the error rate is much lower and the network is much more stable. So we're seeing some improvements there. All right. So Philippe, how are you doing today? You always ask me, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. A lot of work with being a pool operator. It's a little bit stressful over time. I mean, we are monitoring our pool consistently. And I know that a lot of people have had wallet connectivity issues. I've been getting a lot of emails, both private and on my YouTube channel. So we're going to cover those in the future of this podcast as well. So let us know what problems you're having. But before, let's get into a couple of Reddit topics, and then we'll figure out where to go from there.
Sure, sounds good. So we'll go to the Reddit first, and then we'll pop over to chat. So if people have questions, comments, or inputs on the latest news coming from Reddit, feel free to let us know. Let us know what your comments are on the subjects. And let's see.
Okay. I just dropped the link. So I'll cover this first one because I had a couple of comments to make about it. So the top for this week was posted by Zell Portem, and it says that the Cardano blockchain is currently undergoing a full third-party security audit, which will provide an updated and publicly available review of the blockchain's code. So it was an article linking to a finance.yahoo portal, and basically it was describing what Charles Hoskinson said in an AMA, saying that there was a third party that was auditing the code. And that third party provider, their company name is Root9B. I looked them up on Crunchbase. Crunchbase is a platform that you can use to look up startups to see exactly how much they're funded. You can get a kind of a general sense of how the company is doing financially. So of course, it's not 100% accurate, but you know exactly where they start. They have between 51 to 100 employees. They were funded around $2.3 million. They're I guess they're a successful company for there, but they've had a lot of restructuring. A couple issues that I've had, their reviews are not great. Don't take my word for it. They're not spectacular. There's a site called Glassdoor, which is an employee review site for employees that are currently employed and maybe leave the company. And it's more like an anonymous thing, and they pool a lot of data. So people that want to work for that company later on, they can go through those reviews and see whether or not it's a good fit for them. You can go ahead and check their reviews out on Glassdoor. You can also check some of the press that they've had. And make your own judgment. Like I said, I didn't think it was spectacular. Not really sure what the company doesn't seem like they focus on blockchain audits previously. They do more of like security auditing, but I think blockchain may be a new field for them. So maybe I'm just ignorant to what they do within the blockchain space, but I could not find a lot of information about that. Let me know in the comments if you know anything more about Root9B, but I like to look a little bit deeper when I see certain articles to see what's going on behind the hood. And that's what I have to say about that. I'll pass it over to you, Rick.
Yeah, I didn't do that much research on them. One thing I will say, I would rather have a third-party security audit than not have a third-party security audit.
Correct.
So I don't know enough about them to comment on them. I can't remember who the last one was. But there was a different one that audited the mainnet of Byron. And so I was at least glad that we had a security audit going on. I don't know how many other crypto companies actually do that, but I think it's a good idea at any rate. So good research, though. Interesting research you got there.
Definitely. Security audit is the way to go. Determining which companies should audit those products, because I know that's just like any type of business, this is a very new industry. So companies claiming that they're solely security auditors for blockchain companies would be an outright lie unless you formed within the past couple of years. So it's probably something that existing companies are trying to foray into in order to add additional revenue streams. I'm not sure how effective they are because with Cardano, all the code that they're writing is new code that they're writing, and it's with a new industry. So you're pretty much telling them what standards you want them to look for in order to look for, unless there's a company out there that's more experienced and has been looking at multitude of different blockchain projects simultaneously. But it's very difficult for me to believe that certain auditors are going to be ahead of Cardano as far as what they're looking for in the code, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, maybe they specialize in Rust and Haskell or something like that, along with security. I don't know.
Okay.
Just kind of speculating there. Maybe that helps the selection criteria. But we do need to take it with a grain of salt when you look at Glassdoor. Now I want to look up the company I work for in Glassdoor and see what they say, because the company I work for is a really good company.
Yeah.
So I'll do a side-by-side comparison and say, well, I know the company I work for is really good. So
yeah.
because ex-employees, you never know what they're going to say.
Oh yeah. Disgruntled employees always.
That'll work.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Depends on why they left.
Yeah. Everyone has something bad to say if they left. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at least the third-party audit is definitely better than not having a third-party audit. I would definitely go with that philosophy.
Correct.
For starters.
Correct. Yeah. So, let us. You want to? I don't think I see anything in chat right now.
Let's see. No, a lot of people over there. Let's see. Some thanks to the pool operations. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And also keep in mind, there's a lot of new pool startups. We had Kyle Solomon on with the new pool, new startups out there. That's something we could touch on now. We have like 700 pools, only 300 more to go to 1,000. If people are interested in starting up a pool and you have not yet started up one, it's not too late. We're still on testnet. Don't wait till mainnet. Don't start one up on mainnet. You're going to have a hard time.
Yes, you will.
When people go into compete mode, they're not going to want to play.
No, not at all.
That's just how it is. That's how people are. But some people are forever helpful, like Priyank. But if you want to get started, check out IOHK's YouTube channel. They have at least 7 videos on there where Alejandro Garcia walks you through how to set up a stake pool. So if plus IOHK has on the Zendesk how to set it up, they have the text version, so you can watch the YouTube videos and familiarize yourself with the process. Then you can go over to IOHK's website for the Shelley testnet how-to for beginners and follow the instructions. And it's about 99% you'll get there, but computers don't like 99%. So for the remaining 1%, hop over to the Shelley Stake Pool Best Practice channel and ask the experts over there. There's a lot of expertise and they can help you finish the job. And we'll hit 1,000. Think we'll hit 1,000 by mainnet, Philippe?
I think so. Yes.
I think so too, man. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to hit 1,000. So good job to all you stake pool operators out there. And there's a lot of people operating with zero stake who are very persistent and resilient, and they're hanging in there until the stake shows up. So well done to you folks as well for being persistent. All right, let me see if I can get, all right, so I got my chat window popped out. Let me see, anything else in chat? Let's see, Falcon Eye Vision asked Rick and Phil, I heard on Charles AMA, I think he's referring to the update yesterday. Yesterday wasn't an AMA, it was an update. He gave a pretty good high-speed, rapid update that they're trying to generate more public interest in Japan for Cardano. I manage a celebrity who's very famous in Japan. Which entity should I contact best? I would say Emergo. Contact Emergo. They're based in Japan. They have offices in Osaka and Shibuya, or Osaka, yeah. And let's see, yeah. So who's it? Manmeet Singh is the CEO. So go onto Emergo's webpage, emergo.io, get a hold of the contact information and let them know. That would be great to have of celebrity in Japan. Get
Yes.
involved. Thank you, Falcon Eye Vision. That's awesome. That's great, man. I love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
James Reagan says, once Haskell code is implemented, will all the current Rust code just become obsolete? Or could the different codings be used together if that's even possible? To tell you the truth, I don't know the answer to this question, whether or not it's just going to be completely scrapped, Jormungandr, and we're just going to go completely to Haskell, or it's going to be a merge of the both. I think the answer that even if they had an answer now, I don't think it may be the 100% truth because things are just so dynamic at this point. So I don't know. I'll pass that over to you, Rick, if you have any more insight.
Yeah, I think they'll exist in parallel for a month or two.
Okay.
So that you'll have them both running as we transition to the Haskell node. That's just a estimate on my part. And then it will go all Haskell at some point. And what will be interesting to see is, now that this test net is decentralized, how do you shut it down? Or the pool operator is just going to keep rolling with it,
Yes.
Like if you wanted to, like 086 Rust that's out right now, if a bunch of people put their heads together and said, hey, let's just keep rolling with this test net as long as there's Stake and Ada around to play with, you could do that.
True.
Kind of neat.
True.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Haskell. I think there's some posts we're going to touch on, but expecting a serious gain in performance on that.
Yes.
Philippe, I did a poll on Twitter yesterday, and a lot of people responded. I had that on here with the 086, and it looked pretty good. Excuse me. The question was, for anyone running a pool on Cardano ITN, how would you rate the experience so far on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad and 10 being great? And most respondents, 32.8%, rated it a 6 to a 7, which I agree with. I also would rate it 6 to 7. And, Cardano 8.4, 8.5, I would have rated about a 5. Now it's a 6, and you're going to see continuous improvement. And I think you'll see it get better over time as the improvements and tuning continues. So
I wanted to maybe talk about something, this transitions, because people are always asking how the testnet is going, especially the pool operators have a different experience from the delegators. Sometimes the delegators think it's going a lot smoother than it actually is, and vice versa. But we get a lot of questions. Someone's asking a question, when mainnet? And 0.8.6 was released, so that's something big that we can talk about now, and we'll probably cover it in a couple Reddit posts. But when we're looking at when it's going to be production ready to hit mainnet, we have to look at the speed of how IOHK is addressing the issues and the bugs that are put in GitHub. And once again, all the bugs and the issues are not necessarily put out in GitHub. Pool operators have to submit logs and make sure that they are keeping their GitHub active in order to inform IOHK what's going on. So based on that, if you look at the reviews, the time between 0.8.5 and 0.8.6 was roughly about a month. We know that a lot of the employees were on vacation during that time, but during that time, 10 bugs were closed, and I think like 26 issues were closed. But if you look at the current GitHub, there's another 24 bugs that are open, which would mean another few months to just cover the bugs that are currently in GitHub. And there's 182 issues open. So that would give around 6 to 7 months. So, somewhere between that 3 months to 6 to 7 months would take that long just to fix the issues that are currently in GitHub. A lot of the closed issues that I was looking at in 0.8.6, they were actually closed with they weren't closed with the resolution. So some of the issues that you can go see yourself in GitHub were closed because the person said that there's been an adversarial forking issue. So nodes that are running twin leader status and multiple, that excuse or that reason has been used to close a lot of the issues in GitHub. But that means that the issue itself hasn't been fixed. Most of the issues that I see in 0.8.6, and I went through every single one that was closed or every single bug that was fixed, was more cosmetic because the actual issue with the twin leaders and the network consistently forking hasn't been addressed. So that's the main issue. All those little cosmetic issues, they could stay open for a long period of time, they're more superfluous. The main issues, I think they need to be fixed sooner than later. I don't know. I'll pass it over to you, Rick, but that was my analysis of the 0.8.6 update. Not saying it wasn't an improvement, but it's not as dramatic as what I initially anticipated. And they're going to need to work a little bit quicker on the main issues.
Yeah, I saw the same thing during the network phase of the test net. There would be issues submitted and then closed, and they weren't really fixed. But 0.86 was a big improvement. On the first day, it showed really, really promising. But then what you got to do is you got to test it for longevity and endurance. And so over time, so it did work well. There was a good improvement to it. But over time, what operators found is that it had more natural forkiness to it, and that they had to restart their nodes. And I just do want to say what I've observed is people will say, hey, my node is operating great. I'm hitting a lot of blocks, 75, 85%, but they're restarting that node 6 or 9 times a day. Well, if you're restarting a node 6 or 9 times a day, that's not very good. That's not good. It still needs improvement, but we are still in testnet phase and we're still early on. And I think these will get resolved. It just takes time, especially with the Haskell code, because the Haskell code is following the specs, whereas the Rust code, I know it's been explained many times, is racing ahead. So what I noticed was, 8.6 started off with a bang, and then as time goes on, you start to see where the weak points are. Then you have problems. Then whether they got to tune their connection parameters or if they have to tune their scripts, timing, and all that kind of stuff. And then you'll see it get better again once they optimize the tuning. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I actually rolled back to 0.8.4.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hitting more blocks on 8.4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah. I got customers to take care of, bro.
No, Rick, you're treating your delegators well. I'm telling you, if you're not familiar with Rick's pool, Rick is on top of the game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's the MVP here. So
yeah. Well, I'm on travel. I got 2 good techs minding the matters that know what they're doing. Yeah. Writing the scripts and doing all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so 0.86 was there was some mild improvements, and at the same time, there's it's getting there. Let's say that. Fair enough.
Fair enough. So
getting there.
When people are asking my opinion of when mainnet's gonna hit, I just ran a simple systems of equation, and I would say at least 3 months from now. No sooner than 3 months from now. I could be wrong. But that it's end of January now, so I would say at least April. That's the minimum. At least April. Probably a little bit later than that. So we'll see. Could be before. I don't know. I don't know how fast they're gonna work.
Yeah. There's some feedback in chat. OCG said you're trolling me. No, OCG, I'm not trolling you. That was after many conversations in the Stateful Press practice group. People say my node's running great, really. Yeah. And what I'm seeing is people who have a very long node uptime don't have a lot of stake, and people who have a lot of stake they have to restart it or something, So there's a trend kind of starting to form there. Old Pa Sync says 8.5. Old Pa Sync, good example. 15 to 42 restarts a day on 0.8.5, 1 restart per day on 0.8.6, and that's his pool is JSCS.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the inputs, Old Pa Sync.
Okay.
There were some questions on Daedalus there too. We're going to touch on that later.
Yes. You want to touch on it now and then get back to Reddit, or we're just giving a public service announcement on issues that people are having?
Yeah. Manager Mister said, whoever said open Daedalus rewards as admin, great advice. Worked for me. Thanks. I believe that would be on Windows. You would do something like that. I don't think you would do that on Linux and Mac, but maybe on Windows it could help.
And people are also having issues with Yodoi seeing newly formed stake pools. I think that the Emergo team said that a Yodoi update is coming relatively soon, maybe tomorrow or maybe early next week. So maybe that visibility will show for those new pools. Once again, I think it's just a syncing issue with Jormungandr constantly changing. So you have to make sure that the Yodoi servers or the Emergo servers are up and running in order to satiate the demand and show visibility to these certain stake pools. I've been having a lot of trouble myself on, I don't really use Yoroi, but I've been having a lot of trouble with Daedalus logging in. I mean, I've tried the administrator hack. It's a hit and miss for me. I restart. But once again, it's where you're connected, what nodes you're connected to. So some people are having more trouble than others. Just have to be patient. Best thing you can do is, I don't want to encourage spamming of the Zendesk, but open up support tickets. Trust me. The more that more questions that ask, it's going to build up a ticket. Someone is responsible for it. A team is going to have to look at it eventually. So just keep on sending it. Keep on sending your support tickets.
Yeah, and the Zendesk is really good at responding. I've had responses to every single thing I've submitted, even things that weren't asking a question. So they were very good. Okay. They're very good. And there is an IOHK help page I'm looking for the link right now. I will drop the link down below after the podcast. There's an IOHK help page for common problems with Daedalus and how to resolve them. Okay. So you can go there. And I've seen 3 different conditions on Daedalus, right? You start it up and it doesn't connect. That one's pretty simple. You can either wait it out or close it and reopen it. It eventually connects. The other condition is that it does start, but the balances say 0. Actually, there's 4 conditions. And you don't really have to do anything. You just close it out and restart it again the next day, and the balances are there. And the third condition is you start it up and the stake pools don't show up. In that case, you can delete the stake pools database file and fix that. There's a fix for that. And the fourth state is it opens up and displays the balances. So those are pretty common, and there are some fixes listed on the IOHK website. I'll put the link down below after the podcast. Okay. Cool. Okay, any other questions? And we'll roll back over to Reddit.
Let us see.
Oh, a Doge official has a few points. So 086 still needs to be restarted. It blocks. Yeah, if it forks. So sometimes you hit natural forks or adversarial forks, and you can either wait for them to clear, which sometimes can take a long time, but if you're going to miss a block, it helps to clear storage and restart the node so that you can hit the block. And that's from a Doja official.
Okay.
086, the EEK error came back. I saw the EEK error on the 0.7 series during the network phase. That's when the time on a node gets off. The Jormungandr will say, EEK, your leadership event schedule has been missed or something like that. So the EEK error came back. It's kind of funny, but if you use the Chris Graph Crony D settings, that might help alleviate that a little bit, but a lot of us are using it now.
Rick, I have a question. So you're running 0.8.4. When do they deprecate the old versions? Like, how far back can we go as far as when is like, can we use... sorry, go ahead.
As long as there's not a breaking change, and there has not been a breaking change since 0.8.1. So you can use 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. There's no breaking changes. Mm-hmm. Once they say breaking change, you can't go behind that. You have to get on the new version, or you'll be on a different network.
Okay.
Yeah. So 8.1 through 6 are all compatible.
Okay.
Or 8.2. I want to.
All right. Mm-hmm. Let's grab another article from Reddit.
Over to Reddit. Yeah, let's hit that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's Charles Hoskinson's update on January 12th is a very high voted page there. So he's been doing a lot of updates. That's really good. 2 updates in 5 days. Plus, we have more updates coming from Dino Paddle, as long as I say his name correctly. But and other people are going to be doing updates along with Charles. So okay. I watched that AMA. I can't remember what it was. I had too much information overload.
Oh, I'm right with you.
Okay. Yeah, but I love his updates because you're getting it right from the top, and not many cryptocurrencies do that. Charles is on point with the updates.
He is.
Very timely information. Okay.
The next post we have on Reddit is from Carlos Verde, and it says Cardano's Hoskinson claims Hydra protocol is 5 times faster than Ethereum, and that's just the title of an article from 11 News, and he said that in one of his AMAs, I believe. I'm not 100% sure when he said that what that means as far as, is it transactions per second? Is it the speed that the transactions are going through? What does 5 times faster than Ethereum? What does that mean? Because I know I've sent ERC20 tokens from address to address. I think it's pretty quick. So 5 times, I don't know what context that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know during network phase testnet, when it was free to spam the network, we hit 250 transactions per block, and the block time was at 10 seconds. So that's at least 25 transactions per second on the current version, basically in the current context of Jormungandr. I can't remember the stats, so I probably shouldn't say anything. We did do some spam testing where Merrick and Mark Stopka and myself just hammered the network to the absolute max. And I think we hit 11,000 transactions in 400 seconds, whatever that comes out to.
Okay, let me try to do some quick math.
And out of 11,000 transactions, 10,600 of them made them into a block. Yeah, those numbers are correct. I just don't know the math. 10,600 divided by 400 would be
around 27.
27. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we hit on the current version, not Hydra, though.
Okay.
That would be too expensive to do that.
Yeah. That would be pretty expensive.
Yeah. I need to, I don't know, make a sacrifice or something.
Okay. So I guess we can go to the next Reddit article.
Yeah, Hydra protocol. Yeah, so that was Hydra protocol 5 times faster than Ethereum. Let me see if there's any comments in chat, and we'll go to the next Reddit article. And Octoman's PC says Cardano is very network heavy. Yes, it is. It's almost like proof of network. Instead of proof of work, it's proof of network. It's a super communicator. Adoja Fissel was his take was at 5x capacity, 27 transactions per second. Okay. All right. Yeah. Next article, Philippe. You're more well versed on Reddit at this point.
Okay. So the next article is from the Goggles Do Nothing 7 days ago. It says a hearty thanks to the watchdogs. This person posts, it looks like the network is getting better. I know that there are multiple angles to the issue of running a pool in an adversarial way. This is a test net. We need to proverbially click the tires, and if we don't do something now, do it now, someone else will later. And I'll just zoom through. He talks about Michael Parsons. This person talks about Michael Parsons and said, this isn't just decentralization, this is democracy, and it is empowering to see the will of the community affect change. So basically just a positive note in the Cardano subreddit saying thanks for everything that people are doing and securing the network and running pools and everything like that.
Yeah, that's good. And also he touches on the point of pushing the test net, because right now we have the adversarial fork problem, which is also and natural forking problems.
I'd have to disagree. I don't think that the adversarial forks are a way to push the testnet. Like, I mean, when I hear push, I consider what you did, transaction pushes, or trying to see if you can break something. But a problem that exists that shouldn't exist, I don't think that's considered pushing. I would consider that just a necessity to get fixed. I mean, and we have had an update, and there's been no change to the twin leader problem whatsoever. So
yeah, the question is there a solution to that?
That's really the question. There may not be. There may not be.
Well, there is. I mean, you can do anything with a computer. It's how do you get there?
Yeah.
Or what is the solution? Most people. I did a Twitter poll on that. 72% said the protocol should handle it. 72%. The other options were social shame them on Twitter or ban them. And those only got 30% of the vote.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope to go down, because right now most of the people that are involved with Cardano are very passionate, or we're in a niche project right now. Most people don't know what this project is. So think about mass adoption. If more people come on, random people that have never heard of Cardano before may open up nodes. And why would they not run twin leaders if they could? Like, why would they care about the health of the Cardano ecosystem? It's more like, I'm going to try to drip as much money out of the ecosystem as possible and make sure that I can sustain myself. So expecting people that are currently in the Cardano ecosystem to act in a certain manner is not indicative of what outside people are going to act when it opens up even more.
Yeah. You will have that. The adversarial forking problem is an issue, and it does need to be addressed. That goes without saying. But you got to think, out of 700 people out there, you're going to have one person who says, I only care about me. I don't care about you. So what is the impact of what this person or people are doing? So what the adversarial forkers, the impact is you have 699 other people out there trying to compensate for their malicious act. And either writing scripts or staying up late at night and checking their node once in a while, setting their alarm. And so this one person, through that act, is causing a lot of other people to lose ADA, even and the other people's customers. So it's costing them hours. They're losing hours, and they're losing real value because of the adversarial forkers. So, maybe at some point the adversarial forkers will be held accountable for it. That would be good. I think they need to be held accountable and prevented from being adversarial forkers deliberately. But once it goes mainnet, it's impossible to know. You can't track down the IP address or the identity. Like if I made a fake identity and just put a node out there in the cloud somewhere, you'll never find me.
No, never find me. I mean, how expensive would it be for a adversarial party? I mean, there are people with a lot of money out there, and they may just want to do something malicious. They may just have time on their hands. I mean, the fee, the operator fee to run a pool is just over 500 ADA. I mean, you could open up 1,000 different pools pretty quickly, and it's relatively low cost to operate a node, especially if you know what you're doing. So in various different locations, run 1,000 nodes and just like twin leader it on repeat. And most of the nodes would be adversarial forking nodes that are running twin leader status. And I mean, you could probably do this for probably in the orders of magnitude of maybe tens of thousands of dollars, but to someone that's not a lot of money. So this problem needs to be fixed sooner than later. I mean, it may be a little bit more of a hurdle to climb when the ADA price rises, but I don't know if we're there yet.
Yeah. No, I don't know either. The good thing is you cannot kill a Jormungandr with 100 forks. Okay, so that part has been tested. Can't kill a Jormungandr with 100 forks.
That's true.
I don't know what'll happen with 1,000 forks. Maybe 1,000 forks can kill a Jormungandr. I don't know. So it is a good test. Bottom line, it's a good test. It's a pain. But it is a good test. Test complete. Now we know what the impact is. So time to stop doing it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
We get it. We know what happens now. That part is now understood. Move on to something else.
It's not going to stop though, because at the end of the day, while we harp on this, I mean, I know the message has been said that repeatedly that it is testnet, and we have to make sure that we try to build and it gets serious on mainnet. I would argue it's serious now. As soon as Jormungandr went live and people's money are at stake, while it's not at this point, it's fictitious, but we're under the assumption, or we're under the notion that at some point those ADA rewards will be realized. So technically real money is at stake. If you don't think that real money is not at stake, that means you think that Cardano will never hit mainnet. So given that it's affecting someone's bottom line at this point, you are playing with people's money, real money, regardless of how you look at it. So take that, I mean, which is why I think that this should be priority number one, because it's not good business practice whatsoever.
And that's what my Twitter poll said. Number one priority. I can look that one up. It was 33.8% said this is the number one priority. And yeah, so, but that's Twitter. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But Twitter tends to be accurate. Initially, it kind of looks wonky, but over time, the more and more people answer, the more accurate you get on people's sentiment.
Yes.
So I can't really make fun of Twitter. It does tend to get more accurate over time.
Yeah. Power of numbers. The bigger the statistical pool you're coming from, it's, eventually it's going to reach the consensus, even if there are outliers.
Yeah. So correction to that. The poll says, for anyone running a pool on Cardano ITN, what is the number one issue if you had to pick just one to be addressed? Adversarial forking, natural forking, node crashing, and stuck block height. Number one is adversarial forking at 43.9%. Stuck block height is number two at 28%. Natural forking, 14.6%, and node crashing at 13.4%. And I will say the node crashing has gotten much better. I haven't seen actual just flat out crash in a long time. So the endurance of the software has gotten much better. It's the network effects that need some work.
Do you know how many people participated in that poll? Do you have that handy?
82.
82. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a significant portion of the stake pool operators, because some of them are running multiple nodes. So that's a significant number of operators that are, maybe there are non-operators that also voted, but that's a good selection, the data selection.
Yeah, it's usually higher than that, but it's further down. Like the poll on rating the experience so far was 192 people, and 32.8% gave it a 6 to a 7. And again, I agree with that. And then 32% said 8 to 10.
Okay.
And only 14.6% rated it as a 1 to 3.
Okay.
So not bad. I think that's kind of what we would expect.
Okay.
All right.
We have a question about Create the Imaginable says, can't you designate a main chain and only let pools contribute to that main chain instead of fork chains? Yeah, I mean, the pool operator, yeah, that's a little bit difficult. I mean, pool operators, this is a decentralized protocol, so it's like Rick has been saying in the past, and like we've had guests in the Cardano effect, it's not like each pool is connected to the same nodes. Everyone is connected to various different nodes. It's like a never-ending web. So, that could work if there were just a select few nodes that people connected to, but then that would hinder the notion of decentralization. So, it's on the pool operators to make sure that they don't get onto a fork chain, but it's also on the protocol to write certain rules in effect that prevent this forking all the time, because it's a little bit unnecessary, because there are a lot of honest nodes that are running that are just getting forked, and they shouldn't get forked. So
yeah, I had one last night. 108256, I think it was, or was something like that. Forked my node. Guess what? Missed blocks because someone out there is being a aggressive tester. Is that a nice way of saying it?
Aggressive tester. Rick, I mean, I think it would be good to bring some people on that are doing adversarial forking and just go through the thought process, or have some sort of debate as to what the long-term viability of this is. Maybe debate whether or not what the fix is for the protocol. Maybe we can find a solution together and figure out exactly where everyone is, because there's obviously different camps for these stake pool operators.
Yeah, that's a good point. So those people who are deliberately creating adversarial forks, you're inviting them onto the Cardano effect. Feel free to come on so you can explain yourself. There are accidental adversarial forkers. So what happens, here's where the accidents come from. People will bring up two nodes in leadership mode and demote one.
Okay.
if they happen to get a block, or if it didn't demote and they got 2 in leadership mode, they unintentionally create a block. You'll see them listed on the adapools.org blacklist as they only created 1 block. That's probably what happened. But the one where you see they have like 30 of them listed, okay. Yeah. That's the person who's doing it intentionally.
Yeah. At this point, though, with all the information that's been put out, I would have to argue that it tends to the quote unquote, I wouldn't even call it dishonest, because you're doing what you think is suitable for your pool, but you know what you're doing at this point. You know what you're doing.
You know the impact on everybody else.
Yeah, of course. And whether, So.
Yeah. And once you realize you're causing loss of hours and loss of money to other people, then you have a decision to make. You can either stop or you can choose to continue.
Yeah.
And if you choose to continue, well,
it's
a reflection on you.
That's a business model. So
yeah, that's a business model.
Yeah. So yeah. So
yeah, OCG says code is law, and so does Lion. He responded on Reddit. Code is law. Okay, well, it's what you do with that code. Like technically, a hacker can break into a bank and take money out of the bank and say code is law. That's not going to stand up in court.
Yeah, no, that's not going to stand up in court.
Oh, it's not my fault they have security holes. I just broke through them and took the money out of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, it's not going to stand up.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. Yeah, that's you can go both sides with that. So you know,
tell it to the judge.
Yeah, nothing is 100% secure. So you know, if there's a loophole, there's a loophole. If you exploit that loophole and you know it's harming others, then it's on them. And OCG says, so then stop them. Yeah, I mean, you know,
that's on IOHK.
That's on IOHK. You know,
that's not on me.
Yeah, I mean,
the code needs to stop them. There is you know, the Haskell code needs to be resistant to this problem. It has to solve the problem.
Yeah,
but this can't continue. It doesn't happen to Bitcoin. If this problem isn't solved, then proof of work is the way to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You can't do this to proof of work. You can try, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can attack a proof of work network, but you're not going to have this problem.
Brian Hopper just says, can you explain adversarial forking? So just to give him a quick rundown, Rick, did you want to give him a quick rundown, or you want me to break it down?
Oh yeah, OCG can explain this better than I can, but I learned from him. But adversarial forking is when a person does it deliberately, and natural forking is when the protocol. Okay, so here's an example. Let's say there are 2 different leaders out there in the world, unrelated to each other. They both have different node secrets, 2 totally different leaders, but they happen to get the same slot, and they both create the block. They both randomly get elected. They both randomly create the same block. It has a different block hash, and the protocol is designed to handle that. One of them will become the longest chain, and the other chain will be pruned, resulting in a loss of a few blocks, maybe. Depends on how quickly it gets pruned. That is natural forking. The protocol is designed to handle that. The adversarial forking is when someone clones a leader. Here's one leader, and they make an identical clone with the exact same node secret YAML, and they will calculate the same schedule, and they will generate the same block height, but it will have a different block hash. Now, it has similar characteristics as natural forking, but what happens is it's guaranteed to happen, whereas in natural forking, it's randomness that causes it. So what you're causing is you're causing more forks than the protocol would otherwise have. You're increasing the probability of having fork problems.
Yes.
And you're increasing the probability of someone else losing their block, which everyone is seeing.
Yes, and you're increasing your chance of winning a block.
Yes.
So just to give a quick visual example, if any of you have ever been to an arcade when you were younger, or even when you're older, and you know those light machines, those like speed of light machines, the light comes around and you hit the go button, or you hit the token button as soon as that light matches with that particular LED strip and you win. Well, think about if you're running two people at the same time and you have two chances to hit that button or three chances to hit that button. You have an unfair advantage on that machine. You know, whether or not, I don't think the machine is used to play that particular way. You're only supposed to have one chance to hit that slot. But if you have all these different chances or all these different hands hitting it at the exact same time, that's why your percentage is like 100%. You're always going to hit the jackpot. But, you know, I don't think the game creators created the machine to do that. Whether or not it's in that machine's code to allow that to happen is another situation. So I don't know. That's the visual example I would give.
Yeah. And here's the basic math example. I don't know how accurate it is, but let's say you have an adversarial forker running two twins. Now, currently we have adversarial forkers running 4 twins, quadruplets of the 4 identical nodes. All right. Because you could see it on pooltool.io. So let's say they have block 1 and you have block 2, and they create 2 blocks on block 1, two identical blocks, different block hash. That means you have a 50% chance of losing your block. Okay. Now let's say they run 3. If they run 3, which happens, it's right there on Pool Tool. They create 3 identical blocks, and what happens is you now have like a 66% chance that you are going to lose your block. Now, currently there's 4. If you look on Pool Tool, they ran 4. So now you're up to a 75% chance. You got a 25% chance that if they do it on block 1 and you have block number 2, that is now a 75% chance that you're going to lose your block, and only a 25% that you're going to end up on the longest chain.
Yep.
And that is the problem of adversarial forkers, and nothing stops them from making 10 or 20. So it increases their chance of getting their block, and it decreases the next person chance of losing their block.
Exactly. Indirectly, they're taking money out of the delegator's pocket and the operator's pocket to run that pool. So
yeah, it's both directly and indirectly.
Yes. So it is what it is. So I guess they're invited on.
Yep. There you go. Oh, wow. We've gone on that one for a while. But you know what? I think it was good. Are echoing the frustrations of the pool operators out there who are dealing with the number one problem.
Yes.
Based on community inputs, that is the number one problem.
We have a couple more questions. Owen Prescott says, do other staking cryptos have solutions? It's very hard to compare to other staking crypto projects because a lot of them, they're saying they're proof of stake, but it's more like delegated proof of stake. So everything is kind of fixed, and they have a certain number of node operators that are working to secure the network. So I would say that if you look at the stats, I mean, I'm hearing over 800 pools from Old Pa Sync. It's a different landscape. There's really no comparison at this point. I mean, people could say like EOS and stuff like that, but they have just a certain set number of validators that are running the proof of stake protocol. There's nothing that's been done like this before. There's no real comparison at this point. I don't know if you wanted to echo that, Rick.
No, it's like permissionless and extremely decentralized. So, kind of hard to compare. I mean, there's others similar, but whether or not they're open source is I don't know. Like, whether or not they're open source and how it works, I don't know. But decentralized and permissionless is definitely one of those factors.
Michael Pins, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Michael Pins says, how do we get from Jormungandr to Haskell at the end of the testnet? I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a difficult migration. Rick, did you want to touch on that?
Yeah, that one will be pretty easy. It may be transparent. If he means, Michael, if you're asking, how do we get from the Rust version of Jormungandr to the Haskell version of Jormungandr? As long as there's no breaking changes between the two, it'll be transparent. You just load the Haskell version and off you go. Yeah, that would be pretty easy. I think the tricky part, which is not that tricky, is the Dft Hard Fork, which I think there's a Reddit post about that.
Yes, yes, there is.
That there's a Dft Hard Fork. Charles mentioned it in his update yesterday that there's a Dft Hard Fork coming up in February is the planned date for it.
Okay.
Which will be, So
we've been waiting for that hard fork. We had We talked about it last year, so we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting
Yeah.
for it on the Cardano Effect podcast. Premiered here first.
And that the hard fork, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the BFT hard fork on the mainnet to prepare the mainnet for the transition of Shelley from testnet to mainnet.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And the managers at IOHK will be giving updates every week. So please follow those updates. Philippe and I have no inside intel. You're not going to get it from us.
No.
Follow those updates coming from Dinal and who's the other manager? There's another manager who's going to be giving weekly updates.
Okay.
Mr. Populus. I'll get his
Okay.
name. I'll get his name. Make sure I get it linked down below.
Okay. So those are the two
Okay.
managers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, my memory's not serving me well this morning.
No, it's good. It's good.
Let's see. Anything else in there?
In the
Someone asked me
meantime-
if I'm running
Okay,
a pool on Mac OS X. Currently, no. Running on Ubuntu.
We have a
Oh,
quick
that was
question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that was another survey I did. What operating system are people running on? And the largest majority of people, very high percent, are running it on Linux.
Okay.
Linux seems to be the winning champ. I think Old Pa Sync is running Windows very well. Good job, Old Pa Sync. Very small percent. What was the question?
We have a quick question from Jim Frolic. Said, we get test ADA from the testnet. At the end of the testnet, we get paid an amount of ADA equivalent to the test ADA we earn. Where does that ADA come from? So it's equivalent to the rewards ADA that you earn. So the testnet ADA is just going to completely disappear. So say you have 1,000 testnet ADA, and throughout the duration of the testnet, you receive 50 rewards ADA. That rewards ADA will be credited back to your mainnet address. And that comes from inflation. If you go on coinmarketcap.com, it's not completely accurate, but there's around 31 billion ADA that is in the circulating supply. The max supply for ADA is 45 billion. So it's going to inflate until we get that number. So say during the duration of the testnet, a billion ADA, I'm just doing this for easy math. It's not accurate whatsoever. A billion ADA is added as rewards ADA. So when we go back to the mainnet, you won't see 31 billion as a circulating supply. You'll see 32 billion. And it's going to progress like that until we hit 45 billion. Then it will be deflationary because rewards will come from the treasury and also transaction fees as well. So all those things will be put together. So, and eventually, by the time we get to 45 billion, hopefully the price is significantly higher. So even if the reward percentages go down, it doesn't really matter. The native asset price has appreciated.
Yeah. And another description that I would like to add to that is, where does the ADA, where's it taken away from on the mainnet? And so the way I've heard it described is, it's the ADA that would be created like 50 or 100 years from now, way out in the future. That's the ADA that's going to be, when testnet goes mainnet, that's the ADA you'll receive. It's the ADA that otherwise would have been created, in the next century.
Okay.
That's where it comes from.
Okay.
It's not going to magically just poof, come out of nowhere, right? You can't do that on Cardano. You can't create the ADA from nothing. It has to come from somewhere, and that's where it's going to come from.
So we're taking the ADA from the great-grandchildren of the next 3-4 generations. We're taking the ADA out of their mouth.
Yeah, but by then, who knows how much ADA will be worth? You might be able to buy a Lambo with one ADA. Who knows, man?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. One ADA for a taco. You're in pretty good shape. Back to Reddit?
Yeah, back to Reddit. Let's hit
We're
a couple more
approaching-
Reddit. Yeah.
We're approaching the hour. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So what's our next one? Oh, it was the Cardano releases Jormungandr 086 to improve network stability of the node. Yes, it did. It certainly did that. The statistics are on adapools.org if you want to see that greatly improved stability of the network. That was from posted by Solo DIGI. And a lot of comments on there. And if you guys want to find stake pools, there's a lot of people on Reddit that there's a Reddit thread with promoting your stake pool. You can check that out. People can talk about their stake pools on there.
I would like to scroll down quickly because we don't have
Yeah.
much time to a post by Xel Portum about welcome Cardano node running on a mobile phone. So I thought that was very cool, and I thought that this was a very good fix. There was like an Android fix in 0.8.6, and all of a sudden people are running nodes on mobile phones. So I thought this was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. It was fascinating, Philippe. I had to ask him on Twitter, how did he do it? And because, how do you port forward on a mobile device? And so what he's doing is he is using a VPN to a provider that allows port forwarding. So the VPN, the Android device to the provider, I forget what the name is, and then that allows your port forwarding, and it works.
Interesting.
That's the key. You got to have that port forwarding ability. And I was trying to figure that out a couple months ago on a tablet. No, not on a tablet, but on a mobile device and connect to the cell tower. And I was like, how do you get this thing to port forward? And,
was that when you were running it on Galaxy, trying to do it on Galaxy?
yeah, it was. I trashed it.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah. Merrick was able to do it on a laptop or something like that mobile, but I couldn't do it. But this young man figured it out.
Kudos to him.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
We also have... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought that was great. Getting it to run on a Galaxy. Like that's a testament to two things. The person's very clever, and also the fact that Jormungandr is efficient enough to run on a mobile device. Okay. Anything else on there? Back to Reddit?
Okay, back to Reddit.
Chat, we're done.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Okay. Jormungandr's rising post with from Twitter with Charles Hoskinson posting the 0.8.6. So that was from Clumsy Saint. Clumsy Saint says Jormungandr's rising. It certainly is. Soon to become a Hydra later in the year. You know what else is rising, Philippe? What I noticed is lots of commits on Plutus on GitHub. People were off for the holidays, but GitHub at cardanoupdates.org ramped up extremely fast. People who got right back to work, and it went over 1,000 commits per week very quickly. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. All right. I think we're good. We got most of the main Reddit stuff.
I don't know. Let's go back to chat, and we can wrap this up because we hit about an hour. We know we have people have their weekend to enjoy. And it's been an eventful week, and we've covered a lot in today's podcast.
Yeah, and we also had any remaining Daedalus issues that you wanted to touch on that people are seeing. And also there's an issue people are seeing with Yoroi. That is, they'll log in and they won't be able to see a certain stake pool, like a new stake pool. That's not a Yoroi problem. That's an issue between the Yoroi server connecting to the network. I believe that's where the problem lies. And getting the new data from the network as to whether or not that new stake pool shows up in Yoroi or not. So if you just wait it out a day or two, it'll probably show up.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Someone says Scar 2 versus DIGI, any other pool. What pool's producing more eggs? I didn't do a comparison between Scar and DIGI, but the pool producing the most eggs is 1%. They killed I bet they're pros. I know I said it before. They went straight for the jugular. They went straight to 1%, raced to the bottom, and made as many pulls as they possibly could.
Yeah.
And there's no way to publicly contact them, but no one cares because they're making a lot of money. So whatever, right? So, that's the way it works.
Think about that when you're giving your local stake pool owner flack for running pools. Just because we're visible,
Philippe and I caught flack on social media over running multiple pools. Dude, I'm going to run 10 pools by the end of testnet. I'm going to max the hardware out and see how many I can run. I'm going to run. I did it during the network phase. Why not do it? Test different business models. Everybody should do it. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Anyone who has the skills and the resources to run multiple tools on testnet, by all means, run as many as you can. Go for it.
Go for it.
Test different business models. Test different network settings. Just hammer the network and don't bow to social pressure about why are you running 10 pools? Yeah. Run 20 of them. Who cares?
Yeah. Someone tells you why you're running 20. Run 1,000.
Yeah. Go complain to 1%. Oh, you can't. You can fill out a web form for an email. You don't even know what their email address is.
Yeah.
But they're pros. I bet they're pros.
Yeah, they're pros.
Me and Count Christian talked about that, and we were like, wow, man, I bet they're pros.
Yeah.
They're running a good operation. Everybody knows it. Low percent, high uptime, hitting a lot of blocks.
Definitely.
I wish I was them.
They're killing it. They're killing it.
Yeah.
So 1% pools, come on the Cardano Effect podcast. Black out your screen. We won't give away your identity. We just want to talk to you.
Please.
And see how you're doing it. It's not disingenuous whatsoever. We're looking at you as, oh wow, they're doing it correct.
Yeah. You can wear a ski mask and one of those voice digitizers.
Yeah.
1%, please come on to Cardano Effect and tell us how you did it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fair enough, man. If everybody could do that, we'd all be screwed. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Owen Prescott says going to run 2,000 rock pies. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right. I think I think we've hit almost everything today. So I want to thank everyone for joining us for the Cardano Effect podcast, episode 70. Please hit that subscribe button. Please comment, send us messages. We appreciate you. You have a great weekend. Everyone in the States, enjoy football. I don't know. Spend some time with family, spend some time with friends, enjoy your family. And until the next week of the Cardano Effect podcast, we're trying to get some more guests on. It's a gradual process, and we are working to make sure we improve the quality of our podcast week after week. And we are also operating stake pools at the exact same time. So we are super involved, and you can get out and reach out to us at any point. So, Rick, do you have any final words?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a stake pool operator, another one coming up. It's been great. People love having them come on. I think we should open up a Reddit thread just for those guys to get the input. So look for the Reddit thread. I'll get that posted out. And I anticipate next weekend, as long as we can work that out with the stake pool operators. And people seem to love those episodes, getting great feedback on that. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. And I'd just like to also add, we had comments on Twitter as well about us not representing stake pool operators. We have a whole channel. We invite any stake pool operator to come on the Cardano Effect podcast. We've had 3 so far. So if you're small-time stake pool operator that you want to see, that you want promo for or whatever, you think that they need more, the invitation is open. We don't bar anyone. It's you sign up and you come and join. So if you want to promote your stake pool and you're all about helping the smaller stake pool, so be it. Then come on the Cardano Effect podcast. Invitation is open. And if you still want to complain about it, then you need to reevaluate your decisions. But I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No, it's been an open invite since the end of November.
Yeah.
I can't spam the stake pool channel.
Yeah.
I just throw it out there once in a while. But
yeah,
the invite is there. It's certainly out there.
Okay. All right. Until the next episode, everyone. Okay. Bye, everyone.